Dr. Anthony Fauci has urged Congress to pass Joe Biden's COVID relief bill because U.S. schools need more resources to reopen safely after months of virus-enforced. The nation's top infectious disease expert said reopening schools can be done but told ABC's George Stephanopoulos that school districts really do need more. That's the reason why the National Relief Act that we're talking about getting passed. We need that, Fauci said, as Democrats in Congress try to push through $130 billion in funding to help schools upgrade buildings and buy protective gear. Obviously it's not a perfect situation, but it's really important to get the children back to school in as safe a way as possible. Safe for the children, but also safe for the teachers and the other educators. Fauci's comments came after the CDC said on Friday that in-person schooling can resume safely with masks, social distancing and other. The teachers' unions say many schools still have outdated ventilation systems and lack the kind of testing programs suggested by the CD. Biden's $1.9 trillion relief plan calls for at least $130 billion in dedicated funding for schools, which Democrats are now trying to push through. Share this article. Shared Democrats on the House Education and Labor Committee say schools need the money to repair buildings, buy protective equipment and meet CDC standards. But Republicans on the committee want to reopen schools now and limit funding to schools that stay closed. We know the costs of keeping schools closed are high. So why are schools still closed? Virginia Fox, the ranking GOP member on the committee. Democrats hope to get the bill to Biden for his signature by mid-March, after the president promised to reopen most K-8 schools in his first 100 days in office. We have sacrificed so much in the last year, Biden said. But science tells us that if we support our children, educators and communities with the resources they need, we can get kids back to school safely in more parts of the country sooner. The issue has become increasingly heated as some school districts face gridlock with teachers who have refused to support reopening until their demand. The White House has been accused of not acting aggressively enough after saying that schools would be considered open if they teach in person 1 day a week. Biden's press secretary Jen Psaki later insisted that the president's objective was to get schools open 5 days a week, but did not give a timeline for that to happen. Psaki said the task of helping schools reopen would fall to the CDC and Biden's pick for Education Secretary, Miguel Carter. The CDC roadmap published on Friday was more emphatic than past guidance on the need for masks, with Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky saying that most clusters in the school setting have occurred when there are breaches in mask wearing. Webb used stronger languages than prior guidance. We've been much more prescriptive here as to putting some guardrails on what can and should be done to get to a safe reopening, while other recommended measures include hand washing, disinfection of school facilities, diagnostic testing and contact tracing to separate infections. It added that vaccinating teachers would provide an additional layer of protection, but is not a prerequisite for open. Becky Pringle, president of the National Education Association Union, welcomed the CDC's guidance but said that schools are failing to meet it. CDC standards still aren't being met in too many of our schools, Pringle said. We can and must provide students the opportunity to return to in-person learning, but we also must ensure that every school has the safety measures in place to keep students and educators